Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Cloud, and welcome to my Locals Retro for week 8 of the OP11 Meta. For this week's Locals, I decided to play Purple Yellow Robin. Let's waste no time and go over the deck list I brought. As usual, I'll just be highlighting some of the key cards and strategies for this overview, but if you'd like me to go into a full deck list breakdown sometime, let me know in the comments below. Here is the Purple Yellow Robin decklist that I played in week 8. This decklist was inspired off a Reddit post I saw, and I wanted to give it a try since it sounded interesting compared to some of the normal Robin decks you might have seen. I'll be sure to link that original post in the description below for you to view later, but I did make some of my own tweaks to it. The general idea behind this decklist is to play around the 3, 6, and 9 Dawn numbers, and to ramp consistently to play blockers and draw cards. Unfortunately, this does mean that you are really reliant on Purple Yellow's Robin's banish ability to do most of the heavy lifting. So the first thing that I want to talk about are the blockers in the deck. I'm playing 3 blockers. The first one is 3-cost Nico Robin. This has been a very good card in the deck after playing this decklist a few times because it is a Straw Hat Crew type searcher for the deck. As you can see there, it says on KO, Dawn -1, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type card, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this being on an on KO effect and being a blocker is really nice because I can use it to block out of an attack, and then on KO, use it to help find something in the deck that can, further increase my defenses. The 2 notable ones are, I can actually find another Nico Robin. So I can have it block, and get another blocker in my hand to use for the next turn. But the more important one is actually the Gum Gum Giant. That's right, Purple Yellow Robin is a Straw Hat Crew type leader, so I have access to Gum Gum Giant. And we all know how powerful this event is. So being able to have a blocker, use it to block an attack, and then be able to use it to search out a Gum Gum Giant while it's my opponent's turn means that I'm feeling pretty confident on defenses. The next blocker is the 3-cost Jaguar D Sol. This has been a staple in Purple Yellow Robin's decks and has proven to be a really good card in this deck list as well. It's a 3-cost 5k stat line, which means that I can use it to attack since it has 5k power, and more importantly, it has the trigger that says if your leader is Nico Robin, play this card. So if I find it in life, I can use it to trigger out and gain a blocker to help me stay alive in my games. So really good card for Nico Robin. The last blocker is the 5-cost Sanji. So first off, this is a Straw Hat Crew type blocker, which means I can find it off of the Nico Robin. Little good combo there, but more importantly, this is one of the card draws in my deck. On play, if you have 2 or less life, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from hand, allowing me to filter out my hand a little bit in order to try to find better answers for the different scenarios in the game. And not to mention, it is at least a 6k stat line, so it can be a decent attacker as well. And those are all the blockers. The next thing I want to highlight are the card draw in my deck, which I have a lot of. We already talked about the Sanji, again, being able to draw 2 and trash 1, really nice there. But the most important one in the deck is the new 6-cost Sol from OP11. This Sol is a 6-cost, 6k power strike character with no counter and has the Giant/Ohara/former Navy type, and says on play, if your leader is Nico Robin and you have 7 or more Dawn cards on your field, draw 2 cards. And it has a trigger that says activate this card's on play effect. So this is a very good card in Robin, and I'm loving it because, of course, I'm going to be ramping with my leader. I will be at 7 or more Dawn pretty quickly, so I can play this out whether just on my turn or through trigger to draw 2. And drawing cards is really important since Nico Robin requires me to trash 1 card with trigger from my hand in order to ramp. So having the card draw, especially a draw 2 like this, is very powerful, and I have been loving it. The next one is the 3-cost Dedashi, which has always been in the deck, but this one is another draw 2 since I get to look at the top 5 cards in my deck and reveal up to 2 cards with trigger other than Dedashi and add them to my hand. So combined with the Jaguar D Sol, in 1 turn I could potentially just be drawing 4 cards. So very nice. And then I do have some other card draw sprinkled around here and there, like the Frankie, the Nami, and the Monkey D. Luffy, all of which are draw ones that are situational. And then also, actually before I forget, Gum Gum Giant does allow me to draw 2 cards as well, so I'm going to count that towards the card draw in the deck. Finally, the tech combo that I wanted to try in this deck that was not in the original post was the Don Quixote do Flamingo and Rosinante combo. So Purple Yellow Robin is a very Dawn hungry leader. I want to be using Dawn on leader to attack, but if I do that, I'm not going to have enough Dawn to use to play out characters. So oftentimes when you're playing Robin, you really have to do a lot of Dawn management, and you're really just trying to get the maximum value if you can from your Dawn. So with the Rosinante, this helps a lot. It says here, end of your turn, if you have 7 or more Dawn cards on your field, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. Having this in the deck means that I can just use all of my Dawn freely without having to worry to leave some up for things like Gum Gum Giant, since at the end of my turn, I can just restand 2 Dawn. So that really helps with dealing with how much Dawn my leader and deck likes to use. And then additionally, with the whole combo here, I can use Doflamingo to play out that Rosinante. As it says here, on play, Dawn -1, play up to 1 Don Quixote Pirates type character card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand, which is going to, of course, be the Don Quixote Rosinante. So it allows me to establish 2 characters, which is really nice. The Rosinante is also a card draw, which means I can trash 1 event from my hand to draw 2 cards, adding on to the amount of card draw I already have in the deck. And then finally, the Doflamingo can help me ramp back whenever I am Dawn minusing with cards like Gum Gum Giant. So it was a cool idea in the deck, and I wanted to give it a try this week. And now the last thing I want to highlight is the 3, 6, 9 Dawn numbers I was talking about earlier. As you can see, a lot of my blockers are 3 costs. And I have other cards in the deck like the Dedashi that are also 3 costs. So having 3 Dawn to use for these blockers and Dedashi is really important. And then moving on to 6 costs, we have cards like Jaguar D Saw, which are 6 costs, and Nico Robin. So on certain turns, you can do 6 Dawn for one of those 2, 3 Dawn for Nico Robin, for one of the blockers, not just Nico Robin, or Dedashi. And then, with the remaining Dawn, maybe attach the leader or keep it up for Gum Gum Giant. So if you combine those 2 numbers, 6 and 3, that's 9. That's why it's important to play around the 9 Dawn number. 6 Dawn is important as well because you can play Saw or Robin, or play out 2 blockers or a blocker or Dedashi. And then 3 Dawn is the most important because you see that those 3 cards, Robin, Saw, and Dedashi, are a big part of the core of this deck. So that's pretty much it. Here's the full deck list already on screen for you to view again, and you'll be able to find this deck list in the description below. Shout out to Eggman Events for this deck builder. You can find it at his website at Eggman Events. So, how did we do for week 8 of the OP11 meta? We had 27 players, 4 rounds, and I went 1-3. Here were my matchups. Round 1 was against Red Black Kobe. Round 2 was against Yellow Vegapunk. Round 3 was against Purple Black Monkey D. Luffy. And round 4 was against Green Purple Lim. Against Red Black Kobe, I won. Against Yellow Vegapunk, I lost. Against Purple Black Luffy, I lost. And against Green Purple Lim, I lost. In order to keep this video on the shorter side, I'm not going to review each matchup right now, but I'll be posting all of my matchups, win or loss, with my VOD review following this video. So be sure to check it out. Now, let's talk about what went well, what didn't go well, and what's next for me. What went well? Despite the losses, I like the thought process behind this deck list a lot. Focusing the game plan around blockers and card draw really helped cover for some of Purple Yellow Robin's weaknesses, while still being very cohesive. And to no surprise, having Banish on leader felt amazing. Finally, I really liked the new 6-cost Jaguar D Saw that was printed in OP11. Having the ability to draw 2 cards allowed me to refuel my hand and feel like there was always a potential for more options during the game. What didn't go well? In some of my games, I totally forgot to ramp with my leader ability, which meant that I was missing out on having more Dawn to work with. Although having blockers and card draw in the deck felt good, this deck list didn't have that many characters that in my opinion could feel like a threat to my opponent, and this allowed them to develop high power characters without fear of being punished. As a result, it made it hard for me to ever contest the board or use any characters to go for game. And even though I knew I wanted to put power behind my leader to apply pressure with banish from leader attack, I ended up only attacking for 5 to 6k most of the time since I needed to use the Dawn for something else. This meant that I wasn't burning as many resources from my opponent's hand as I had hoped. Going back to my deck list, I wanted to try the Doflamingo Rosinante combo, but it ended up not working out at all. I never found a good time to play it, so it was just taking up space in the deck. Overall, I don't think I piloted this deck very well. And what's next for me? It's already time to say goodbye to OP11 and say hello to OP12. And of course, the first thing I want to do is hop back onto Green Yellow Yamato and see if there's any updates for me to make with the deck list. And that's gonna do it for week 8 of the OP11 meta. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next VOD reviews. Until next time, remember, keep your minds fresh and your spirits free. See ya!